I feel like
No, there's a lot to go over.
there is. And you know what? I'm sure a lot of people are like, these guys are nerding out and like talking too much detail. But man, this is my podcast. This is what I like to talk about. So we're going to talk about it. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the BLIP podcast, where we help agents build successful agencies. I'm Josh Berg, your host, and today I've got Matthias Allred with Inside Insurance in South Jordan, Utah, on the show with me today. Matthias, welcome.
Hey, Josh. Thanks for having me on.
It's gonna be fun. Man. Yeah. So I want to have you on because I'm in some groups with you, and I know that you do some pretty cool stuff in your agency, specifically with automation. And that's kind of what I want to get to. But before we do that, why don't you just kind of bring us up to speed and give us a little background?
Sure. No, appreciate it. I always tell people starting off, probably like most people do, I don't feel like there's anything overly special or unique about me. Aside from I know I'm special and I know that everybody loves me, especially my mom and that kind of thing. Yeah. But I really feel like I'm like the average American dude. You know, I've got the 2.5 kids and a house in the suburban area and like just pretty average. I don't feel like I'm exceptionally talented in athletics or looks or musical or anything of that nature, but really do have a lot of fun and really enjoy what I do. So my background, I actually started my professional career, if you will, in the mortgage world.
Oh, okay.
Right out of college, I worked for my uncle on a short stint doing some accounting and bookkeeping. That's what I studied in college. And then moved in with a bunch of guys. One of them was a real estate agent. One of them was a mortgage lender. This was back in 2002 during the heyday when you just had to fog a mirror to get a loan. And
heck yeah.
He says, get your mortgage license and quit doing this other junk, and we can make a lot of money and have a lot of free time. And I just absolutely fell in love with it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and it was hard work, but it certainly wasn't as hard as it seems like it is today in the mortgage world.
Yeah.
The most fun about that, I think, is that we were young single adults in our early 20s, and we made good money, but most importantly, we had tons of freedom. Right. We were all self-employed. We had the 100% commission type thing. And so we could spend our mornings snowboarding and be back at the office by 11 o'clock and work for a few, 4, 5, 6 hours and then head back up and go snowboarding or go out to the lake or whatever.
Yeah. So and have you been in Utah for like your whole life?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So is that freedom? I would say that freedom is my currency. Freedom's the lifestyle that we wanted. And yeah. I found it in the mortgage world, stayed in the mortgage world for 12 years, I think it was. And my buddy and I that worked together, we found that we were constantly referring out homeowners insurance. Okay. And one of the challenges with the mortgage world is it's not reoccurring, right? You make a chunk of money up front when you close a loan, but it seems like every single day you're swimming upriver. And as soon as you stop swimming, you just lose a lot of ground.
Right.
The whole idea of building a clientele that continually paid you seemed very, very appealing, especially if we were referring it all out anyway.
Yeah. And I think, with that, I think so many people get into insurance because of that residual income, insurance and real estate. It's like the two things that really kind of make that for you. So yeah, sorry, keep going.
No, absolutely loved it. So didn't know anything about insurance, started asking around. There was an agent that marketed to our office occasionally, and she was with American Family Insurance or a captive company. I didn't have any idea what captive or independent meant or anything like that. And so started looking into it, decided to jump in with American Family because they provided apparently really good training, really good onboarding. They provided a base pay, all that kind of stuff seemed appealing. And that's how I got my start in insurance. I was there for a couple of years. And
did you quit the mortgage industry and jump into insurance?
Yes and no. So hindsight's always 20/20, right? And I know then what I know now, I would have done it a little bit differently. But I tried not to quit doing mortgages because I had a decent clientele and good referral partners and stuff like that. But the demands that they made on us at this captive company kind of pushed that out. So when I first started, I got my office set up, I had my insurance computer that they provided, and I had a second computer set up that I was doing all my mortgage stuff. And I caught a lot of flack from them about that. That was a no if I was working with them and for them, I guess. I needed to be all in. And so I didn't mean to, but I kind of let a lot of the mortgage stuff slide.
Yeah. Got it.
I regret that. Right.
Okay.
But, they gave me a good education. It was a great stepping stone. It was, I guess, a good way to get started, but I clearly saw the light and found the better path and felt like the clouds parted and the sun shined through, and life's been good ever since.
Yeah. When did you make the jump from being a captive to an independent?
It was 4 years ago.
Okay. So how long were you with American Family?
3 years. Yeah.
Okay. So 7 years in insurance altogether?
Uh-huh.
Nice. So now that we're here, why don't you give us, you've had 4 years with Inside Insurance, right?
Right.
Why don't you give us kind of like an overview of what your agency looks like? Like, what do you guys focus on? Staff, premium?
So we're primarily almost all personal lines. My background being so heavy in mortgage and real estate, a lot of our business, almost all of our business has all come from referral partners from mortgage and real estate. And so being a fellow mortgage guy, that has some pros and some cons. It was great to go to a lot of people I already knew and explain that, hey, I'm done with the mortgage stuff. We're just doing the insurance stuff. And a lot of people started sending business our way. The cons is that I actually still kept my mortgage license because it's a pain to get. I still have some clients that call occasionally, mostly family and stuff that I need to help with loans. But there are several fellow loan officers that are put off by that. And that they won't send me any business at all because I'm a competitor or something.
Sure.
Even though we explain, we keep everything completely separate and I'm not actively doing loans and that kind of stuff. So it's been a good and a bad, but one of the biggest benefits is understanding the mortgage process and where we fit into that process.
Yeah.
And what they're going through and how we can facilitate that and make that a little bit easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's helped us win a lot.
Do you know, having that experience, do you feel, are there things that most insurance agents probably don't know or might not know about their process and how the insurance piece fits in, or like, you know, like things that we should know?
Probably the number one thing is, and I don't know why the mortgage world is this way, but they're exceptionally particular. Most lenders are exceptionally particular on exactness of names and addresses. Whereas in the insurance world, it doesn't really matter, right? So whether we call it John A. Smith or John Smith, it doesn't really matter to us. We can even write it under Jim Smith instead of James Smith.
Right.
It really doesn't matter. But to the mortgage people, it really does. And so being flexible enough to send them the documentation that they need in the way that they need it goes a long way.
Right.
I always hear other lenders complaining about Geico and their home insurance. They're not independent, so we can make fun of them, right? Can we we name them on here?
Heck yeah, man.
But their process, when they request the evidence of insurance from Geico, it's 2 days before they ever get it back. And Geico sends it however they send it.
Right.
So they'll request an update to say, no, we need to put E instead of East, and we need to put DR instead of Drive. For some reason, it makes a difference to the lender, but being aware of those things and just getting it right the first time, being flexible enough to get it right for them really helps out.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So sorry, I totally interrupted you and went off on a tangent, but
no, that's a good tangent.
Giving us
back to our agency. We're primarily personal lines. We've only been 4 years, and I say we, in that it's myself and my partner / producer, Todd. He's been with me. He started at American Family with me. Insurance was his first job right out of college. I hired him just green as can be. And he's absolutely phenomenal. I wish I had 10 of him.
Nice. Those are the best, man. I have a couple of those too. It's like,
absolutely love him. Would never want to do this without him. But anyway, so it's just us. We're 2 producers. I honestly feel like neither one of us are rock stars.
Yeah.
We don't win the top competitions. We're not amazing salespeople. But what I would say, most especially about Todd, is that slow and steady wins the race. Like 100%. Just consistent, just beating the drum, going after it, writing consistent business every month. And, you know, we've grown to where we're comfortable. And obviously we'd love to have a lot more, but we're comfortable. And I always tell people, life is just good. Life is good. Life is happy. I love how our agency's set up. I love the clients that we have. And I get a lot of free time, which is really fun.
Nice.
So that's
Awesome.
us.
Yeah. So you said you're both producers there. So you both write new business. You both service. Is it split totally? Like, are you servicing the clients you write? He services the clients he write. Keep those relationships?
Pretty much. We did hire a CSR. She's part-time. She has been about 5 to 7 hours a week is all.
Okay.
Just recently, she ended up quitting with the other agency that she was with, and she's going to be probably more like 25 hours a week now with us.
Nice.
We're going to push a lot more responsibility to her, but yeah, we kind of manage our own clients, if you will.
Yeah. All right. And is it virtual office? Do you have a physical location?
So that's my favorite part, is that we're 100% virtual on everything.
Nice.
I have an office because the state requires us to, and it costs me $250 a month, and I sublet one office space from another company, and that's it. And Todd works from home, and I work from home most of the time. Laura works from home. We actually do have a virtual assistant now too.
Okay.
I guess we've had him for several months, and he obviously works from home too. So
yeah,
we can work anywhere.
Cool. So you've been doing this, running this agency for 4 years now. What would you say that you guys do really well?
Probably the number one thing that we do well I shouldn't even say well, right? I listen to other people in the group or talk to other people, and I think highly of them. I think, gosh, if I could be like that, then it'd be amazing. But I think we have a good customer experience process. We have good workflows. We have good systems in place that it just makes life easy, right? So although we're not the biggest book out there, we have sufficient, but we have a lot of free time.
Yeah.
I guess what I mean by that is good systems in place, good processes in place, helps you write good business, service good business, make sure clients are happy, and it doesn't become burdensome. I talk to some agents that will make comments like, I haven't been on vacation in, 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think, good heck, I think I take plenty of time off. I don't want to sound like I don't work at all, but if I want to take Friday afternoon off, or if I want to, take a trip up to the lake in the morning or something, like, it's very flexible enough that we can go do things.
Right. Yeah. It's, even those people who say they haven't had a vacation in 5 years or whatnot, maybe they have gone on a vacation, like maybe they've gone to a destination, but I've been there where you can't really unplug from work. Like when you're needed a certain way, you're needed and you have to, be there. So until you can get out of that position, or, I want to talk to you more about that, like how you have it set up.
Right. And part of that is there are plenty of times where I'll go on vacation or go out of state or out of the area, but I'll take my laptop with me. Yeah. And we maintain really well like that. Yeah. I'm not prospecting. I'm not like out searching and growing, but I can maintain with a laptop on a beach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Clients when you need to be taken care of. So I always tell people, my wife and I talked about this, that it's all by design. It's all by intention. Is that when we set this up, when we talked about what we wanted, having flexibility, having freedom, being able to work remotely from anywhere was very important to us. So we structured all of our software, all of our teams, all of our processes so that can take place.
Yeah. And so why don't you, I wanted to have you on because I know that you do automation, and I'm pretty sure you do it fairly well. And so I'd love to talk to you about how you incorporate that into your process. So do you use it for the, I guess when you're prospecting, when you're talking to a potential new client?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you use it for that?
Let's step back and just define what automation means.
Okay.
In the first place, a lot of times when people reach out to us and say, hey, I need to automate this, oftentimes what they're saying is that I actually need a process, right? Yeah. I need to automate my onboarding process. Great. What is it? I don't have one, so I need to automate it, right? Right. So really good automation starts from defining what your process is, what you want to have to happen, what the steps are, and then deciding what I specifically need to do and what I can get either somebody else to do or get a machine to do. Yeah. And that's what a good automation is, right? So we use automation in our marketing and our prospecting, right? If we run ads I've just started running ads on Facebook. We've had some pretty good success with that. But when they come in, they automatically get put into the CRM, right? Yep. They automatically get sent emails and text messages and voicemails. They get sent links that says book an appointment on our calendar, all that type of stuff. Whereas the manual process used to be, you got a lead, it got emailed to you, you had to pick up the phone and call them, you had to manually put it into the CRM, those type of things. So we just use the automation to streamline what that actual process already was.
What CRM do you use?
We use Infusionsoft.
Okay. So
the only CRM that people should use.
Just
kidding, you active campaign people.
So do you, I mean, this is kind of like, well, there's a few people who, yourself included, it sounds like, basically use a CRM as opposed to an insurance CRM, right?
Exactly.
And so do you have an insurance CRM like EasyLinks or?
Yeah, we use EasyLinks. What can you say about an agency management system, right? That hasn't already been said. Read the forums and you'll find out what people think. It's a fantastic digital filing cabinet.
Yeah.
How about that? EasyLinks, we have them for our AMS and our rater. We obviously, having a rater is essential. Takes all of our downloads, commissions, all that type of stuff. But aside from that, it's a great digital filing cabinet. Aside from that, there's not any great automations that you can push from it. And the ones that they do build out on there are very subpar compared to what's available to other third-party applications like Infusionsoft or Active Campaign or whatever.
So are you primarily in Infusionsoft, or are you primarily in like EasyLinks?
Everything starts in Infusionsoft.
Okay.
So whenever we get a new lead or a referral, everything gets dumped into Infusionsoft. I should say, back to just talking brief automations, most of our business comes from referrals from mortgage partners. So we have things set up in Infusionsoft. When I get a new lead, put it in Infusionsoft, it will email the referral partner back, says, hey, this is in our system, it's getting going. As I deliver the quote, it can email the referral partner, said, hey, the quote was just delivered, follow up with them, see what they want to do. If the client views our quote, it's going to notify me that it was viewed and trigger the next steps on stuff. So all of the sales stuff starts in Infusionsoft. Then, unfortunately, we have to manually put it in the AMS to run the quotes and everything like that. But the sales cycle and the sales process all happens in Infusionsoft.
Have you been messing around with the Zapier integration?
With EasyLinks?
Yeah.
No, because they require Sales Center with EasyLinks in order to do that, and I don't.
Yeah, we don't have it either right now. I was really considering adding it just to have that.
Right.
But I just don't know how really valuable that would be. But
you outweigh there's cost to it, obviously. And is the cost to have Sales Center so that you can not manually enter it into EasyLinks worth that much? I don't know.
Right.
I have one of the things that I have my VA do now is that whenever I do get a referral, forward it right to him. He'll put it in Infusionsoft. He'll put it in EasyLinks. He'll set up the quote details. He'll do all the data scraping and that kind of stuff to get it ready. And that's been very, very helpful and very cost effective. Nice. Because I hate double entry. I hate entry in the first place. Right?
Yeah, right. So with the prospect, when somebody say somebody calls you or you guys get a referral for, from a mortgage person or whatever, you get a new prospect. What does it look like from that point? Like what's automated aside from notifications potentially going out to the referrer? No coughing on the show.
I know there's something in the air out here.
Yeah, man. By the way, where are you? It looks like Florida.
I know. Yeah. This is my beach house.
I love it. I love it.
A little 10 by 10 office with a green screen.
Sweet.
It looks like a beach house.
It's great, man. So, so what other parts of that are automated to, let's say client or prospect facing?
Right. So again, back up to what the experience is that you want the client to have and what that process is before you automate it. Some of our referrals for mortgage people, the mortgage lender says, hey, let's do a quote just for me. If it's comparable or better, then I'll send it to the client, let the client reach out to you.
Okay.
We get some of those. We get probably more of, hey, I referred this client to you, call them and it's maybe a legitimate referral. I can call the client and talk to them.
Right.
So we don't really automate much at that point other than we reach out to them. Where we do automate though is once the quote's once we make contact, we get all the information to prepare the quotes. We use a video quotes type platform that we put together. The links to that all get put back into Infusionsoft. And so once we're getting ready to deliver the quote, we do it all through a video. We just hit send in the CRM, and it will send that out to the client. It will follow up with them until they view it. We'll give them an option to accept it or reject it or ask questions, I guess.
Okay.
And follow that part of it. Go ahead.
Sorry. I know I'll forget this question I want to ask you while you're just talking about it. So you say you have you basically built your own, or you have your own kind of video quote type thing?
Yeah.
Can you explain? Tell me more. Tell me more.
Nothing overly fancy, but again, it's something that we can do in-house and help maintain the cost on it, or control the cost on it. It's built on a WordPress site. So we have a subdomain set up called proposal.insideinsuranceagency.com. Okay. And every time we get ready to do a proposal, we basically just create a post or a page for that client. It's logged down with a password. It's not indexed or searchable anywhere else, type of thing. And it really just outlays, the client's name and the video proposal, a link to the quote itself, and details about us and our calendar and all that kind of stuff.
How long does it take you to just set up that page? Not talking about doing the video, but just set up that page. 0
type of thing. Yeah. So, I have to record the video and I have to paste the embed code in the page.
Okay.
We use Google Drive. We use Google Apps for Business because Google's better than Microsoft. And so we save the quotes in Google Drive, and I have to get the link to the file and match it up to the button on the page. So other than that, the page is generated automatically from a stage in Infusionsoft. Once they get to the quoting stage in Infusionsoft, it fires off a Zap, and Zapier creates the page and everything for it. It's all templated out and ready to go. I
did not know that Zapier could create.
That's why we were asking about your podcast earlier. I'll show you.
Good.
So it automatically creates the pages. It actually copies the URL back into Infusionsoft for me. So it's stored in the custom field there. So really, I record the video, I save the quote, I match up the links in there. It takes maybe a minute. I do password protect the pages. That probably takes the longest to actually type in the password and make sure I don't fat finger it. And then everything's synced back up into Infusionsoft. So I just have to move the stage from quoting to quotes delivered, automated, and it will fire off the campaigns to follow up with the client, let them make sure they view it.
Have you considered, instead of doing a video proposal that way, have you considered doing it via text?
No, but maybe I should.
I was thinking about that maybe yesterday.
So in that process, I do have an option to just text them.
Yeah.
When the email goes out, we'll also text them that says, hey, I just sent you the email, go look at it.
Yeah.
But maybe including that proposal in the email or in the text itself.
Because that would be like right in front of them, right there.
Right.
With no additional,
right.
And then if they responded with accept or reject or whatever, but that would probably be
question. No, I think you could easily build that in. I guess, I don't know why I wouldn't. Right.
I don't know.
I'm always leery about text messaging and how much you should do or shouldn't do. 100% comfortable with it with our clients. We text them, during the onboarding process several times, but prospecting, I've always been leery, like cautious.
Yeah.
Right? Make sure we really have permission and that kind of stuff. So I had to consider that and see what that does.
Who's your, do you use a VoIP system?
We have Jive for our phones, and they're a little bit slow on integrating the text messaging. They have it integrated now. They haven't figured out the specific user stuff, or maybe I don't have it set up. They're working on it. It should be done soon. But they don't have the MMS either, which we have to have MMS.
Yeah.
Right? So we use ClickSend for our text messaging, and they're phenomenal. It basically works right through our email, just like your eFax would. So we send text and receive text through email. That's pretty cool.
Nice. Sorry, I feel like
no. There's a lot to go over.
There is. And you know what? I'm sure a lot of people are like, these guys are nerding out and like talking too much detail. But man, this is this is my podcast. This is what I like to talk about. So we're going to talk about it.
Exactly.
Okay. So if the client likes it, they want to do it, they let you know, great. What does your onboarding look like?
So let's back up real quick too. One thing that's
sure.
important is that we also let the lender know when the quotes go out and keep them up to date, because oftentimes the lender it'll trigger them to call the client and say, hey, have you decided what to do about your insurance? Knowing that they just looked at my quote. And I think maybe that helps them say, well, we just looked at Matthias's, it looked great, let's do it, kind of thing.
Nice. I like that.
But it does cue the lender, and we tell the lender, like, hey, follow up with them. They just looked at the quote, type of thing.
Do you have any lenders that you work with that don't want that kind of notification?
No.
Okay. I was just thinking that people who are really hands off, if they just want to refer it, trust you, take care of it, Matthias, and you're like, yeah, we got it, we'll let you know when they decide. I didn't know if you had.
They haven't said that. I do have several lenders that are that way. They don't say, hey, do this quote. They say, hey, you're doing this insurance.
Mm-hmm.
We told the client they're using you.
Yeah.
But they still get the same updates and stuff like that. And they haven't complained about it. So
cool. Okay. So where were we?
Onboarding. Once we tell the client, I guess it's easy to say because Todd and I are only producers, but our rule in our agency, we decided, is that the agent needs to sell the policy, collect all the down payment information or payment information, issue it in the system, get the signed applications and everything. Right? I want the agent to like button it up and it's done. Once the agent's done with it, in theory, we're going to turn it over to our service department, when we feel like we need to, type thing. Nice. So a good onboarding, again, just starts with a process. Like, what do you want your clients to learn? What do you want them to know? How much do you want to, I don't want to say bug them, but inform them, right? And what does that look like? So we mapped it out. And what we decided is we also looked at our servicing and said, why are people calling us? And if we can see a pattern in what people are calling about, how do we get in front of that? And how do we prevent that or inform them about it so that they don't have to bother us? Bother us is the wrong word. That sounds so right. I don't want my clients to call me. That's not it. I don't want them to have a need to call me. I want to satisfy that need when they have it, right? So I've taken these ideas from several people, but we developed a new client onboarding form that we fill out. It's in Infusionsoft, but we fill it out every time that we write a new piece of business. And we indicate whether it's a new account to our agency or whether it's just an add-on policy or whether it's a rewrite type of thing. But in there, the section that I really love is that we can check box specific communication pieces to send out to them. Meaning, if we write a home policy and we know that there's an internal and external inspection that's ordered, we're going to check the box that says internal inspection, and they're going to get an email 7 days after we write the policy or after we issue that form that tells them, hey, you're going to get an inspection. This is what's going to happen. Here's the type of thing, right? We anticipate that need because we got several calls that said, hey, this company called and said they have to do an inspection on my house. What's this all about? Right? So we just provide that information ahead of time so that they're aware of what's going on, right? Cool. One of the ones that have been very helpful is the home refund or the auto insurance refund. If we write them from a different carrier and bring them over to our agency midterm, they're going to get a refund on their auto policy from the previous company or their home policy. We would get phone calls that says, what do I do with this? Right? Got a call from the old guy, what do we do with it? So whenever we know that's going to happen, we check the boxes, auto refund reminder, home refund reminder type of thing, that will fire out the email that says, hey, you're getting an auto refund reminder or an auto refund from these guys. Here's what you do with it. Same with the home insurance, and it explains the escrow and how all that kind of stuff. And that's been very helpful. We've got a lot of feedback about that.
You ever get, so I think one of the things that I know I personally feel, all right, I don't even know how to really say it. So I know that some people don't do automation stuff because they feel like there's going to be too much communication to the client. It's going to be too intensive to actually manage. How do I get my producers or service team to do it all correctly? Have you, with some of those questions, have you had feedback from any of your clients saying you got to stop sending me all this stuff?
No. And here's why, is that people don't care how much you send them as long as you're sending value and good stuff. The times that we get the most unsubscribes is when we say, hey, happy 4th of July. Like, in case you didn't know, is your insurance agent telling you that it's the 4th of July, happy 4th of July kind of thing, right?
Got it.
Some people those emails turn people off, right? Or, hey, it's springtime. Here's 5 things you can do to clean up your house for spring and maintenance, whatever. Yes. Like, we think that it's good information, but I find that most people don't care about that kind of stuff. That you should maybe send them something of more value than that, right? So especially during the onboarding process, I don't think that we overwhelm them by that.
Yeah. But
we do lay out that, hey, you're new to our agency. There's some things that you need to know about working with us, and you're going to get some communication over the next couple of weeks about that. And I think it's gone over well, right?
Do you guys, hang on one second. Do you guys mail anything paper, like any sort of letters or anything? All your communication is digital?
Yep. Email and text.
Cool. Yep. And then I think I really like that you use a form. I've thought about doing that too, because it makes that process so much easier as long as you set it up correctly on the back end, right? To know what to do.
So back to, can you get your producers to do all this kind of stuff?
Right.
Yeah. Like, you write a piece of business, fill out the form, right?
Yeah.
Take care of the client, and it customize. The thing I like about the form is that you can customize specific messages to the client, right?
Yeah.
If it's just an add-on piece of business, we have the auto, but now we wrote the home. They don't need all of the welcome to our agency crap.
Right.
Just need the specific about this. I don't even know that they get much of anything. We have some internal stuff that happens when we do that, but the very specific, hey, reminder, we need to get your report card for your good student discount. Mm-hmm. That's a checkbox, because oftentimes I don't collect it or they don't have it available when I write the business, but we have to have it. So I want to make sure they get a reminder about it.
Yeah. And then
you can just make the communication much more customized and specific. It doesn't sound generic to the client. It doesn't sound like they're getting stuff that doesn't apply to them. That's probably why people unsubscribe, is they're like, I get this crap that doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Whereas if you tailor the message to give them the message that they want at the time that they want it,
got it.
Subscribe from it.
Cool. Okay. So now that the onboarding process is, basically done in that, or I guess the management, like once they're a client, do you have anything that you guys do?
Part of our onboarding, we have a client-facing service center where they can submit requests. So part of the onboarding is telling them about that. Hey, if it's 11 o'clock at night and you forgot to add this car, you can wait and call us tomorrow, or you can just do it online, type of thing. Okay. There's automations in that, just simple automations, reminding, notifying the client that we got it, that we're working on it, notifying them when it's closed out, and that, what will happen at that point. During all of those interactions, we've been pushing lately for Google reviews. I feel like we've been very successful at that.
Okay.
Getting reviews. And then I think what we do after the reviews is pretty cool too. But we decided that we ask for reviews at new business, but we really push for it at service, at the time of service, because we want we want more reviews to say, hey, these guys are awesome. They took care of me. They fixed my problems. They whatever, as opposed to, hey, they saved me a bunch of money.
Yes. Yeah.
And new business reviews tend to be more about the price and the savings, which are great, and we want them, but we prefer reviews that talk about our service and how we take care of people.
Yeah.
So our process on that is, once we get a review, I actually tag them in Infusionsoft, and they'll get a text message from either Todd or I that just thanks them. Hey, thanks for taking some time to leave a review. It will send a task over to my VA, and he'll actually take the review language and make up a graphic that we can share on all of our social. Nice. And he actually plugs that into we use Social Bee, which is a social media manager tool, like Hootsuite. So he'll actually plug it in and set up the post in that. And then I think Mike Stromso's actually recommended this or talked about this, but we actually take the review and actually print it out, piece of paper, write a handwritten note, which actually is printed on it. It looks handwritten, but it's not. That's just, hey, thanks for taking the time to give a review. This helps people find us online. We love it when you recommend your friends and whatever type of thing. And actually mail that out in physical mail to them.
So you do use the physical mail
for that. But you know what? Sending that, sending that piece of mail. I've actually had several people call back and just thank me for sending that, or talked about it when we talked to them again or something. They mentioned that they got that.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't call me specifically because of that, but they did mention it and bring it up. And the logic behind that is that you ask a client or somebody to do something for you, like leaving a review, you need to thank them when they do it, right? So we thank them with the text message. We thank them. We try and tag them when we post it on social. But sending them that handwritten note that says, thank you very much for doing this, actually means a lot to people.
That's cool.
Hopefully encourages them to send referrals. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's nice to say.
It makes them think of you. Like yeah.
Exactly.
So what would you say the number, like not number one, but I guess your favorite thing that deals with automation, like your favorite thing that's automated or the most helpful or something along those lines? Like what's the best?
Number one thing that I absolutely love is a cultural thing with automation. So that form we were talking about, the new business form, whenever that gets submitted, we actually have a post that posts in Slack. We have a channel called Winning.
Okay, nice.
The purpose of this Winning channel is to recognize good things that we do, celebrate our successes, that type of stuff. So anytime we write a new piece of business, that just pops up in Slack that says, congrats, Todd, writing a new piece of business. Or whenever we close out a service activity, when Laura does a great job with that, it'll post on there. Or whenever we get the Google reviews or Facebook reviews or anything like that, it will show up in that Winning channel. And that's probably my favorite on a cultural type thing, because we're not all remote. We're not in the same office. I think it's very important to not feel like you're on an island, to feel like there's some community and there's some collaboration. So everybody, comment and good job and yay and that type of thing on there. That's probably my favorite. And there's nothing like magical or overly, I don't know, but it's great. Like it really helps out, right? Small little things like that help out.
We have two offices but we operate basically as one. We're just in two different locations. And so we have a sales channel in our Slack. We call it sales gloating. So anyway, we too, get to like celebrate everyone's wins and stuff. And there's a lot of gifts that go in there. Most of them are appropriate, but it's fun. It's like, it really does like build camaraderie in the agency. So,
especially when you're not in the same office, it's easy to just feel like whatever. So here's the thing I tell people about automation. There's no like magic silver bullet that if I just automate this, all of a sudden business flows in and life's great and, I become good looking and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's what is your process, and then how do you do it more efficiently and consistently to people. So we have, just to tell you, we have our service center stuff that happens. We have, whenever we write a new homeowners policy, we send out mortgage protection stuff that's all automated based on the VA gets a task to run a quote, plug in actual quote figures, and plugs it in, and the automation goes out about mortgage protection. We do our renewal stuff is in the works. We're only a couple of years into renewal. We're actually almost into our third term renewal. So it's still pretty new to us. We're still trying to figure out our process.
Yeah.
But I think you have to figure out what do you want to send first and what do you want to do first? And then you just build out the steps so that it happens consistently. Here's a simple one that's so easy is I've done a decent amount of notary bonds, right? For title escrow officers. They're dirt simple. They only cost them $50. You don't make a lot.
$50 for 5 years or something.
Yeah, 4 years kind of thing.
4 years, yeah.
But what I want, if I'm going to take the time to write it once, I want them to come back to me every single time.
Yeah.
So plug a bond expiration date in Infusionsoft. And then 2 months before that bond expiration date, they start getting emails that said, hey, your notary bond's coming up for renewal. Do you want me to renew it for you? Click here to say yes, and it will notify me to just go ahead and renew it. They don't care where they get it from because it costs the same regardless. So all the time, they're just hitting Like, yeah, just do it. Right.
Yeah.
So simple, but like such an easy way to, like, why lose that little tiny piece of business, right? The same thing with life insurance policies. We don't write a ton of life, but we write mostly term up front.
Yep.
With the option to convert. So we put the conversion date in Infusionsoft. A year before that conversion date, they start getting emails that talk about how do you convert to a permanent policy type of thing, right? How many people miss out on that piece of business because it never ever happens?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're young enough that we haven't, maybe it won't work at all. I don't know. But
I mean,
but maybe.
Yeah. Right.
And I had to write it once, and I just plug the date in when I write a life policy and then forget about it, and we'll see what happens, because we haven't been in business long enough to find out if anything will happen. Right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
So, do you feel like, and this is totally unscripted here, but do you feel like somebody should learn and create and manage their own automated pieces or their own automation stuff? Or do you feel like hiring it out is just as good?
Do I have to pick one or the other? Right. It depends on who you are and what you're capable of. The thing I will tell you is that it's always nice to have it in-house, because you can tweak it and adjust it as needed. And if you have the skills and the ability to do that, great, and not have to depend on somebody else to fix it for you. Right? Yeah. So if you can do it, do it. I think that it's worth knowing and worth doing, because most of it is as simple as, do you know how to compose an email? Right. Like what is that process, right? So our onboarding, for example, we issue the policy, they get an email that says, welcome to the agency. Yeah. We wait a week and they get an email that says, here's our service center stuff. Right. Yeah. They wait a week and they say, I can't even remember what the next one is. Right. So it's not complicated. It's not hard. If you can draw it out on a piece of paper and you can actually type the email, you can do it in the system with, maybe you have to invest an hour or two to learn how the system works. Yeah. Or more hours. I don't know, but you don't have to make it overly complicated. Yeah. It doesn't have to be overly difficult. So if you can do it in-house, do it in-house. If you feel like that's just way more than you ever want to bite off, then hire somebody to do it, and you'll pay more for it. And you're subject to somebody else's service times, right? They might not get to it for a day or two if you want changes. Yeah. That's probably the best I can give you on that one. I don't know. Nice.
Well, man, anything to add at the end here?
Yeah. Automation should be used to free up your time, to make life easier, to take mundane, boring, routine things and simplify them. Right. Yeah. And it should also be used to build your agency the way you want it to be. You need to start out with, what is it you're trying to accomplish first, and how are you going to structure things to get there? So I feel like our onboarding is good enough that we still get service calls, but we don't get the type of service calls that other people get, maybe. But I love when I'm sitting at bed at 11 o'clock at night watching The Bachelor or something, and I get a Slack message that somebody else filled. I don't watch that. Come on.
Yeah, you do.
It's my dirty little secret, right? But I love getting that Slack notification that somebody filled out a change request form online. Yeah. Right? 11 o'clock at night, it makes me smile. Those type of things.
Your online service portal or whatnot, who is that, like the Easy Links one?
No, web page and a form.
Web page and a form. What do you need help with? So they just submit it. It doesn't actually change anything. It just
comes
to you. Yeah.
Yep. So conditional logic form, they can choose, I want a home change or auto change or add a car, take off a car, populates the fields that they need to fill out. As a side note, we use the exact same form, an internal version of that, whenever somebody calls in to make a change too, because we want to make sure we're being consistent at answering or asking all of the questions that need to be asked. Yeah. If somebody says, I want to change a vehicle, here are the questions you have to ask when they sell a car, buy a car type thing. That helps us be consistent, and it also pushes everything into the same workflow.
That's cool.
In the same place. There's no more like sticky note management type stuff that is where things fall through the cracks and that type of thing.
Like that.
Funnel everything into the same workflow and keep it consistent.
Yeah. And one thing you said that I've heard Chris Green say many times is that, people want to automate things that they don't have a process for yet. And it's like, you have to start with the process. You have to write it out, figure it out. What do you want to accomplish? And then after you're doing it, automate it.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's that process, the hardest part, right? When you're on servicing, let's just talk about that for a minute. How many people have a defined process when a client calls in and wants to make a change to their policy?
Not many.
Okay, I'll write it on my notepad and hopefully I won't forget it, or I'll put it on a sticky note, or I'll whatever kind of thing. We use the same process. We use this form, and then it shoots over to Laura, and then she processes it, and then she copies these notes into Easy Links, and then she sends this form to the client saying it's done. And everything follows that same process, whether it's add a car, or whether it's take off a driver, or update an address. It all happens exactly the same way. So when you're designing the process, though, you have to think about what it is that we're trying to accomplish, right? And my design was that I want to be flexible. I want to be able to do it remotely. I don't want to have software that's locally installed. Everything's cloud-based.
Yep.
All of those type of things that build this freedom that I have, or freedom that I enjoy, and builds the lifestyle that I want to have.
Yeah.
So you got to build a process to fit in that. And then you got to train your clients to fit in that process. Right.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I guess that's all I got.
The last thing, and this just popped in my head while you're talking about this. Did you see that Windows just updated?
No. When did that happen?
Last night. So they came out. Well, maybe it was last night. I just updated mine this morning. But there's some there's some pretty cool stuff in there. And one of the things is this is just a little bonus here at the end. You can copy something on one computer, and if you have the same Windows on another computer, you can pick in that computer. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, you'll have to get into that. But
I thought it was the coolest thing in the world when you could sign into Chrome and have all your bookmarks synced across.
So awesome.
That was the most amazing thing ever.
Yes. 100% agree. But now you can even copy on one computer and paste on another. Yeah, pretty sweet. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Matthias, thank you for joining me. One more question. First, listeners, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you have not left a review, please do so. It really helps us on whatever platform you're listening to. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment there. Subscribe to that. If you're on one of the podcast channels, do that. Really, really appreciate it. It really helps us out. How can people, Matthias, reach you? How can they get in touch with you if they have questions?
I'll tell you that, but before that, I'm going to give an unsolicited plug to you. Guys,
Okay.
A lot of effort, a lot of work goes into creating these podcasts, producing them, editing them, distributing them, all that kind of stuff. So do Josh a favor. If you like it, listen to it, leave the review, because those reviews, I mean, just like any Google review that we get when somebody tells us how great we are, you just need that boost. You need that encouragement to keep going. So give Josh the review, guys. Do it to it.
Thanks, man.
Best place to reach me is probably on Facebook. I'm in the automation group quite a bit, or on IAOA. InsideInsuranceAgency.com is my website.
Okay.
And,
all right. So Matthias Allred on Facebook. Love it.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, everyone, so much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Matthias.
Thanks, Josh.